What's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Oh, great. I'm enjoying the weather now, finally, even though
Yeah.
the tough stuff, the colder stuff's coming, but ready for tonight, as always.
Kansas be like four seasons in a day. We know that, man.
Yeah,
So we're blessed, today to have some good weather. And I'll tell you, man, we've
yeah.
been blessed as we approach episode 260. I can't count that high, Dane.
Man,
260, right?
yeah, I had to take off my shoes and start counting.
Yeah. With tonight's episode,
World.
I'm excited because we've stumbled across something, you and I, in doing the show. We've always had like a level of positivity and hope
Yeah,
in like the next generation, right? And then we just
right.
stumbled across. For a few years now, my wife actually showed me this band called Unspoken, and Jon
Hmm.
Lowry, which we'll be bringing on in a second, amazing bass player, talented musician from
Yeah,
this band. If you guys haven't should, if you haven't been jamming to them lately, Unspoken's four actual releases, just put on an EP. They go back to the Unspoken in 2014. They dropped a song which really, really like touches my heart called Who You Are. And this is kind of like talking about redemption, starting over. It's never too late, no matter where you are. Then we fast forward, obviously, to Follow Through. Reason, they drop some just bangers, is what I call it. Like the kids say, just great, like like hits. And then recently with God Help Me, it's almost like this. Now we're kind of in a different phase in life. We're getting a
yeah,
little bit maybe older and talking about just how much we need patience and grace from start to finish and then ongoing. Their
yeah.
body of work has been so real and humble and full of hope. So, Dane, tonight's really, in my opinion, kind of a message of hope. And I want to bring on the guest of the evening himself, Jon Lowry. Jon, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
man.
thank you for joining us.
I know it's
Absolutely.
you're a busy guy and getting some time off is huge, so we'll value your time, man. But Dane and I and the audience over the years have kind of cultivated some questions, so I'm going to jump right into it. You as a musician, we know this about you from following you. I know you're a multifaceted musician. You work with, obviously bass with Unspoken, but your guitar work and your piano work, you're just a talented musician. Take me back, man, maybe even before Unspoken, those demo days, way back in the day. When did you get the itch to start playing music? Where were you? Garage band type stuff. Give me the mindset of where you were when you began becoming a musician.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Man, well, my dad is a pastor. I grew up in Maine, and so my dad pastored up there. So growing up in church, I was always surrounded by music. And my mom played the piano and the organ in church. My dad played guitar. So I mean, from a very early age, I
Wow.
remember being sat on the front row and them telling me, all right, sit there, be quiet. And
Yeah.
so I think as soon as I could, I was like, I pick up a tambourine and start playing it along with them. And then pretty soon I was like, Dad, teach me to play guitar. So I started playing guitar, and then our drummer at the time had an old bass that they said, here, you can borrow this and start learning on this. So yeah, I don't know. I was, in the single digits of age when I started.
Okay. I know I share that same thing. Dane knows this. Growing up, my dad was a deacon and I played, and
Yeah.
some kids would have all night basketball lock-ins and we were jamming all night. I'm curious before Dane takes two, you know how you get that like that first your real guitar. I asked every musician this. My first bass was an Ibanez Roadstar 5 string. Loved it.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? You know your baby, right? When
Oh
you
yeah.
got maybe old enough on your own to buy your first baby, what was your first bass that was your baby?
My
Hmm.
first bass was I was just about to head off to college, so I had to give back this old, I don't know, it was some sort of hollow body thing that the drummer had let me borrow, and I went into the music store and they had this old Schecter California custom
Yep.
jazz bass. So it was one of the old like US model Schecters, and that was my first like candy apple red kind of see-through, and I still have that bass. I still love it. I don't play it
Yeah.
very much because every time I bring it out on the road, our singer Chad, he's always like, "Oh, I hate the way that bass looks." But
I love it.
it's a little too flashy, I guess.
I got you, man. You should be out there like in a Gene Simmons outfit, right? Kind of
Yeah.
matching it. I love it, dude. So Schecter, cool, man. I thought, everybody's got that baby, so that's cool. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah. So I was just admiring as you were talking about that, you guys' first, guitars and bass. I was just admiring your wall behind you there and all that you got on the back there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which one of those is your favorite hanging back there on there?
Oh man. Man, most of my favorites are actually in the cases.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are the wall hangers that I picked up at pawn shops,
Oh, there you go.
For looks,
But
I got you.
yeah, exactly. But I do have an old like Gibson nylon string back there sitting on the piano that I like to pull out every once in a
Oh,
while.
nice.
Love
Yeah.
From those young days with your father, when he was kind of teaching you the ropes in church, and you were kind of learning about music. What was the first band, or what was the first group you actually started playing with, and then how did it kind of start building from there?
That's good.
I remember a bunch of us just in the youth group got together. A guy named Ben, my two best friends, Henry and Jeremy, and some of the girls that were in youth group. We got together and we were like, let's start a band. And we were just we were silly back then. I think we named the band ABI, ABI, which one of the guys said it means "oh that" in Hebrew.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that's true, but that's what he said. We thought
Love
it
it.
was cool. And I was actually the keyboard player in that band, and I had like
Oh, nice.
an old like Casio WK 1500 keyboard, I think, which is probably somewhere in the basement still. And I was embarrassed that it was a Casio, so I like printed out a Korg logo on
Yeah.
the like the dot matrix printer from back in the day and cut it out and taped it on. But yeah, that was our first band, and we
Oh,
covered
nice.
songs and wrote a couple very
RB,
terrible
huh?
songs. Yeah.
Is there some demos out there? Can we find some
Yeah.
demos of this, man? Or?
I think I was actually just texting with my old buddy Jeremy, and he was like, "Dude, I just found a VHS tape that I think
Whoa.
has stuff of that band, but I have no way to play it." And I'm like, "I don't either. We gotta find a camcorder or something to put it in."
If
So you guys,
Blockbuster's listening, Dane, or anybody has a VHS tape, let us know, right? That's
Yes.
awesome.
did you guys go around doing any gigs or anything like that, or did you play in
That's
the
good.
church?
We played in the church one time, I think. It was really loud. I don't think the older people liked it, and we played once at like a YMCA or something, but that was it.
Love it. Love
I
it,
Oh,
remember
man.
nice.
my move was that I'd be playing the keyboard and then I would like run and jump over it, and so
Love it.
Showmanship at an early age. That's awesome. I love
yeah.
Yeah. Even back then, man.
Well, you have to start somewhere and start building from somewhere. So that's a great start.
Totally.
Now, whenever you guys started, you get into different bands as you started perfecting your craft and growing older and learning more and more, and maybe fitting into a style that you enjoyed, and you started going around doing more and more gigs and shows. Are there maybe a couple of events that you've played that kind of are always on your heart or in your mind that stick out whenever you're playing and you kind of remember back to them that maybe you could tell us about?
Yeah. It's good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, a few that stick out. I remember in college we did a tour through Europe with our choir that I was on, and so I got to sing in like the Wartburg Castle where Martin Luther hid out after he did his he stapled his confessions or whatever on the whatever church that, and it's drawing a blank now, but so we sung there, and then we sung in like Bach's church. So that was in Leipzig, Germany. So that kind of stuff is really cool. But just this year, I finally got to play my bucket list venue, and that was at Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Oh, man.
And like, because that's like a question we get asked a lot of times, like in meet and greets, like, oh, what's like your bucket list place to play? And like for the last 10 years, I've been saying, man, I would love to play at Red Rocks. And it finally happened this year, and it was sold out. Like 10, I mean, we weren't the headliners, so we didn't sell it out, but we were the second band or whatever to go on. We're there. And like, so I'm just standing there looking up at, 10,000 people in this incredible venue. And it brings tears to your eyes. Something like that.
They call it God's natural venue because it's the way it's set up is just so it's iconic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we've had quite a few artists that have come through, and they've said that's one of their favorite shows as well.
Yeah.
So you're in some good company there.
Wow,
definitely.
That's cool.
That's cool, man. Like when you look at the body of work, whether it's church and what's cool I've noticed about you, influence wise, whether it's Red Rocks or church or the YMCA, you can tell the love of music that you have. You can see the passion. I've watched you a lot, and I love watching your videos you post, and you're just so passionate. When I think about influence, man, as I kind of transition to question 3, when especially higher, I hear a lot of Victor Wooten in your style. What I hear. That's just what I hear when I listen to you, man. Obviously, you take this dynamic when you go from who you are to then reason. And I think about you guys are transitioning and staying so current, so relevant. Hear a little Shawn Mendes. I hear just this plethora of styles. I'm curious, you as a musician, man, there's got to be, I hear so many things in your music. What's a couple artists that really have left a mark on you? You know, anytime, any genre,
Yeah.
what's a couple artists that stand out to you as influences, you know? So.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, as a band, Unspoken, we're very diverse in our influences as a band. And so I think everyone else's sort of influence has influenced mine as well. Because I tend to really love like the singer-songwriter, like deep lyric, thoughtful kind of thing. Our singer Chad, I mean, he grew up on 90s hip hop and R&B. So he brings sort of that like soul and kind of the rappy, rapid fire kind of stuff. And then our drummer is from Puerto Rico,
Okay.
Ariel. And Ariel, yeah, is our drummer's name. He is not a beautiful mermaid, I will tell you that. Right?
All good.
Yeah.
Love it.
But you know, he brings sort of that Latin flavor. And our original guitar player was from the Dominican Republic as well.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we kind of have a lot of that Latin influence as well. And I think that's sort of where that has rubbed off on us. Us two gringos, as they call us.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, personally, I mean, I was into you know, POD
Yeah.
and you know, anything that was like a little bit heavier or like punk, Project 86 or I don't know, any of that.
Disciple.
That's Disciple. I loved all that stuff like through college. And you know, then I guess as I've gotten older, I've transitioned into a little bit more mellow music, but you know,
No,
I don't know. I like everything.
I'm in the alley of what
Wow.
you're saying, Dave, before you take four. So you said something, and I have to expand this. When I listen to your music, obviously POD comes to mind, right? As far as
Yeah.
like you know, Chevelle, a little bit even Pillar, a little bit of
Yeah.
Switchfoot. You guys are passing the torch. I think about the early days of POD, Switchfoot, Disciple. Now you're the up and coming, like you guys, Crowder, some of that scene with Brandon Lake. You guys are taking the torch and now running with it, letting the world know it's okay to be great, top-notch, A-plus musicians and studio artists, and then still have a positive Christian viewpoint. That's what I love about what you do. You know about this back in the day, John. I know we kind of talked about being the same time frame in music. Back in the day, yeah, I almost had to choose. Love some of our forefathers, Rich Mullins, Amy Grant, kind of stuff like that. We almost had to like pick: are we gonna have some awesome bangers and some awesome like songs, or is it gonna be like devotional stuff? Right now, in the past 20 years, people like you, why don't we do both? We have awesome songs and still hope and redemption where people can listen and actually enjoy it. Not that we didn't enjoy those guys, right? But also bring in a sense of like next level musicianship. You know what I mean? So thank you for taking that mantle and like making the message and the music equal, if you will. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Man.
well, you're welcome.
Right. I don't know how else to say it, man. But
We're doing our best.
Yeah, but it's true. Like, Dane, you know this. 20 years ago, like the positive Christian stuff was like limited. It was like a little bit of Scott Stapp. You know, then you got POD, then you got a little bit of Project 86, Disciple. You got a handful of bands. Pillar broke through. Maybe like 10 or 12 bands. Now, I almost feel like what's so cool about music, there's more people now. I even think about like the Jelly Rolls and Asking McBride and some of these country artists. People are trying to emulate what you guys do. They're almost bringing faith into the secular world. It's flip-flopped. Everyone's trying to like, you guys are now the trendsetters. You know what I mean? It's if you think about music and lyrics and what we're hearing, they're following what you do. So Dane, help me out because you know I'll get lost in my topic. You know?
Even to kind of expand on that, you know, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you guys, but whenever I was even growing up, hearing, you know, that kind of positive Christian message, it was almost you had to go the adult contemporary kind of route to it. But what you guys are doing, you know, you can rock out to stuff and you start listening and digging into your lyrics and you're like, man, this is really positive. I enjoy it. And it's something that, like Josh said, whether it's country, whether it's rock, anything in between, everybody can listen to. And there's something great that you're doing by bringing it to that group of people that listen to that type of music. So congratulations on doing that and open it up to an even wider audience to spread your message. So I enjoy it so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I would come back to one thing my dad always tells me. He's like, you know, we're all just standing on the shoulders of the people who came before. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, those people, it's like we wouldn't be here without them. And
Yeah.
so it's cool that we get to, bring still the message of the gospel of Jesus
Right.
and encourage people through that. And so I'm so grateful for those people
Yeah.
that came before us and sort of opened the
Yeah.
door. And something that Chad, our singer, always says is that, we want half the record to be for the people that are already fans of us.
Mhm.
And then, that is going to work for Christian radio or whatever, a adult contemporary Christian or whatever. And then we want the other half to be for the people that aren't fans yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sort of those are the songs that we can kind of be like, well, let's do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And we'll do,
Yeah.
let's work with we were just writing with one of Jelly Roll's producers,
Nice.
who's a believer as well. And then we did a couple songs with Walker Hayes.
I saw that. Yeah.
him
Yeah.
on this record that's coming out here soon. So
Oh,
so we're
nice.
pretty stoked to kind of, try to keep the people happy that are fans, and then, maybe reach out to some
Bring
new
some
people
more.
too.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
actually, we've actually, Dan, before you take forward, we've actually had Mark from Walker Hayes on the show. Great dude. So
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Good dude, man.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
Very cool.
go ahead, Dan. Yeah.
Along those lines, all these artists that you've talked about working with, now we're on our way into 2024 full force. What's on the horizon for you as an artist and you guys as a band coming in this next 6 months to, I guess, all of 2024?
I think we're finally going to put out the rest of this full-length record that we've been working on since 2020. I guess it's been. I feel like we've been working on this record forever. And in fact, we were just counting up like the songs that we've written for it, and I think it's over 100.
Wow.
But
Wow.
and so then we'll narrow that down to 10. And then maybe we'll get a couple bonus tracks in there too.
All right.
So I think we're finally to the point where that is going to come out. And we've missed all deadlines, and I'm so ready for this thing to be out because I'm sick of working on it.
I love it.
But
Love it.
I'm really excited to get this out this year.
Well, as my 5th grade teacher told me, you can't rush art, bro. So I'm just saying. I'm just kidding, man. Well, I can't wait. Dane and I will be sharing it. Everything I've heard from
absolutely.
God Help Me is good. I love that. I think I hear the singer-songwriter thing. God Help Me is very much like it's a departure in a good way. Like you can see the band evolving. Every good band does it. So anyway, I can't wait. So John, I'm going to transition, man. I promise you. I told you we'll set you up for every part of the show except this. This segment. Now we always keep it PG. We do that, but our fans send us questions from across the world. This is where we like to have fun and get a little weird. We're gonna get weird for a second.
All right.
Let me set this up with rapid fire. Dane and I, every episode, all 260 or however many we've done, we'll bet on what we think the guest is gonna say. You're almost kind of like we're betting on you. It's really fun.
Okay.
Now, we try to be pretty good role models, so we won't bet money, but we bet lunch. Like Dane, if he wins, he gets lunch provided by me. If I win, I get lunch. During this segment, imagine that there's no limits on reality. Reality doesn't exist. You can go back in time. You can go to the future. You can be in a cartoon. Nothing's off the table for this segment, okay?
Okay.
So we're gonna get rolling, and it's a lot of time travel with these questions. So first question, they're taking you, and for some reason, you guys hit it big in like the board game circuit. I don't know if maybe you guys were on tour or something. They saw you guys playing Uno or something, and 2 companies say, "Hey, we're gonna go back to like the 1960s." Your band goes back in time, says, "Hey, we want you to invent a board game, and you guys can take the credit for inventing this board game. You can be responsible or credited for creating Connect 4 or creating Jenga. Which one would you want to be credited for creating and have your name on?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go with Jenga because I don't have Connect 4, but I have Jenga.
Let's go, Dane. Dane, what'd you have, man? I had Jenga. Dan.
Oh yeah, I have Jenga, man. That thing has been redone by countless people. It's so popular. So simple, but so popular.
The J. Lowry edition, you know what I'm saying? Like I can just see it. Yeah, man.
So
cool.
the funny thing, the thing about those 2 games is they have giant versions of each one that I've seen in places.
I was gonna say you go to any this place called Chicken and Pickle. They always have them everywhere on those.
Life size, yeah. It's cool, I love it. So concept album. So I know you guys. Again, I love that. I really am a fan. Ever since like Kevin Max and DC Talk days, I'm a fan of the cross pollination. Secular artists working with Christian artists and making good music. It happens all the time. So these two, I guess you'd say secular artists, say, hey, John, we want to drop an album with you. We want you to compose the album, and they want to sing to it. Both of these dudes are legendary, but you got to choose one. No disrespect to Chad. We love Chad. He's great. But this is just a little solo thing you're doing. You can have Bono drop the vocals.
Wow.
Or you can have Sting drop the vocals.
Oh, you're going to make me choose?
Gotta choose, man. Gotta choose.
Wow. You
Let's go.
like...
Yeah. Like choosing kids.
Man. You know, I'm gonna, people might hate me for this, but I'm gonna go with Sting.
I had you. I really did. Yeah, let's go. Dave, what'd you have, man? You have that one?
I had Bono.
Let's go.
Well,
Let's go,
well, when
man.
you said Bono first, I was like, it's gonna be Bono for sure. But then you said Sting, and I was like, man, he's like one of two guys maybe that could beat out Bono for me.
Let's go. I'm sure there's somewhere along the way there's a Jon Lowry, like on the fields of barley. There's probably somewhere there's something of you out there. I love it, man. Good. So question 3, check this out. So you get called up, legendary rock artist of the night, rock producer, Bob Rock. This one comes up all the time. Bob Rock calls you a great producer, done a lot of good, Metallica-ish type stuff. Says, hey, I want to do a concept album with you. I want you to write an album with me about 1 to 2 topics. And that's it. The 12-song concept album. The topics you can choose from for this album that Bob Rock produces is you can write an album about different types of soda and make it cool, or you can write an album about different types of number 2 pencils. Soda or number 2 pencils. Got to make a concept album, man. Which one you go with?
Okay. Well, this may come as a surprise, but I'm going with the number 2 pencils. Because I love graphite pencil sketching and I love woodworking. So pencils are made with wood, and
Let's go.
like
my first one wrong. Dan, did you have that, Dan? Here.
No, I had sodas as well because I thought, man, there's such a wide variety of around the world. Around the world, you can write so many, and then whenever you go to a different country, you can sing about that soda. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the direction I was going.
I'm just hearing with the soda thing. I'm hearing like this, like eating away inside, or I can hear all these like emo themes. Oh, this is hurting my soul, and I can just go on, man. So
see, well, he needs to ask you to write that album, not me.
Yeah,
then.
I can do it, man. I can write an album about RC Cola, baby. Let's go. You are the fizz of my life. No, I love it, man. So 2 more. So this is a very common theme. Shout out to Jelly Roll. Tattoos on the face, Post Malone, things like that. So they're saying, hey, you guys are going on tour. They're asking you to get 2 of these iconic companies. Say, hey, we'll sponsor you. We're going to give you like 10 grand worth of guitars or something cool, right? All you got to do is get our logo tattooed on your cheek. Post Malone style. Okay. Here's your 2 choices. Check this out. For 10 grand worth of custom guitars and a sponsorship. Your 2 choices: Campbell's Soup. Love it. Right there. Or you can go with Tony's like the powder, like the Tony's like seasoning. So Campbell's Soup or Tony's. Which one are you going with?
Oh man. Boy, it's gonna have to be like 10 grand for my wife, not 10 grand for me and guitars, because she's the one that's gonna have to approve of this. But I'll go with the Tony's seasoning.
Let's go. No need to explain. I was right, Dan. How about you, man?
No, I'm striking out here.
Love it.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, man. Hey, I love getting lunch. Trust me, you're not hurting my feelings, man. I love this. So last one, dude. We're gonna travel back in time to when Jesus was walking the earth. Okay, we're gonna go back to when he was physically working with his disciples. You were one of the 12 disciples. We're taking you back in time, okay? And this was really cool. We know he did great things with the 5,000, loaves of fish and bread. But let's just say for a moment, you guys could choose, instead of the fish and loaves, you can say, hey, Lord, can you maybe instead multiply one of these 2 awesome fast foods to feed the masses? So instead of going with the loaves and fishes, you can have Jesus multiply Chick-fil-A or Buffalo Wild Wings and feed the masses. Still great miracle, but instead of fish and loaves, Chick-fil-A or Buffalo Wild Wings. Which one are you going with?
I gotta go with the Christian chicken. Chick-fil-A, baby.
Dude, I had you, man. 5. Dan, did you have that one, man?
Yeah, I had that one.
That was the easy one, guys. That was the easy one.
and maybe we all get to heaven one day. It's like we'll see that Jesus actually used
Yeah.
to. Who knows? But I love it, man. So
I'm
that's
sorry,
the
B-dubs. You're fine, but my wife makes great chicken wings,
let's
so
go. Sorry,
I
B
get
Dubs.
those at home.
You're not getting a sponsorship by the Lord today. I love it. Just kidding. No, man. But that's just a little segment we do, John. I appreciate you being a good sport. It's called Rapid. Just a little fun. So hopefully in interviews you've done, it's a little something different, man. So
Love it, man. That was fun.
awesome. Then go ahead with the last one, man. So
On this last segment, John, we call it open mic. We kind of open the floor to our guests to maybe talk to some of those aspiring young artists, athletes. I mean, anybody that wants to do something great in life and maybe needs a word of encouragement or some words of wisdom. Is there something that maybe you've carried through your musical career, going to church and maybe some words of wisdom from your father that have kind of carried you to the success that you've been enjoying that you can maybe pass on to that next generation?
I think the thing that has helped me the most in this industry, and I think it's probably similar for athletics, music. I mean, really, it's the same for all humans. We're all striving for people's approval in our work in some way, whether it's to please the boss or, but especially in the arts or in athletics, you are so judged on your performance. And so Colossians 3 has really helped me, and it's all about our identity in Christ, and it talks about set your sights on things above where Christ is seated, or set your mind on heaven. I used to know it by heart, but I don't have it pulled up here now.
Yeah, you're good, man.
So set your sights on things above where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. For you died to your old life, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. That's what I was trying to think of. Your life is hidden with Christ in God. So what does that mean if your life is hidden with Christ in God? And actually, I wrote a song about this. That, when I think of that time at the baptism of Jesus, John is baptizing Jesus, and, the dove comes down and you hear the voice from heaven, and God says, "This is my son, whom I dearly love, in whom I'm well pleased." And so now that our life is hidden with Christ in God, God looks at us in the same way that he looks at Jesus and says, "I'm well pleased with you. You're my beloved child." And to try to rest yourself in that as much as you can in every moment of every day, because I've been doing this for 20 years now, playing with Unspoken, not to mention, the years before that. And every time, still, when I walk into a songwriting session, I am so insecure and just stressed out about, I want to be the hero in the room and bring like a great idea and be a good songwriter and be the best musician. And I'm so worried about what are people going to think of me? Are they going to want to write with me again if I'm just, can't think of anything that day? And so as often as you can rest your heart in that your life is hidden with Christ in God, he fully approves of you. If you trust in his son, Jesus, it's not just that your sins are forgiven, but all of his righteousness that he has done is credited to you. And it's like you're standing there on the podium holding the gold medal, the trophy. You've already won everything.
Man, I'm listening to what you said. I saw this quote, John. I know we're at overtime. I apologize, man. But Dane and I, we appreciate the way you approach things, because we have people on the show from all walks in life and all different faiths, and we respect that. And we respect where you're coming from. And I saw this quote one time. It's like relationships versus religion. It's like religion, I messed up, I'm afraid to tell my dad. Relationship, I messed up, I need to call my dad. You know what I'm saying? It's like this parallel of when you mess as what you guys do, and your lyrics. I know you're a heavy hand in that. You're never trying to hide that you're a real person. There's something so welcoming about the way you do your music. Is, hey, I am no better than you. I've just been forgiven, and that's such a cool. Wow, I can't say enough how much that means to me, Dane. Would you agree, Dane?
Yeah, I mean, and it's powerful, when people hear that kind of message and see how you carry yourself in that manner, you can't help but be in awe of it. And like I always tell my daughter, when you do something great, people are gonna gravitate to you. And you can only do great things whenever you put your heart and soul into it. And like you said, you're guided by what Christ wants you do. I mean,
Love it.
and what greater inspiration is that,
Yeah,
than to write something from your heart that he's given to you. So
man.
it can't help but be great.
Love it, John.
Yeah.
Man, I'm grateful, dude, for your time. Again, I appreciate you with being the dad and husband
Yeah.
and multifaceted musician. I'm grateful that you took the
Yeah.
time. I know we had a chance to connect a while back, but I'm hoping this is the first of many. We love
Yeah.
what you do. We love what you stand for. We love your inspiration. We
Yeah.
love the fact that you're just a real dude, man. You're out there just trying to make a difference, and you're not trying to be something that you're not, and that's what makes us love you even more. You're just walking
Yeah.
through that lens of faith and forgiveness. That there's people in life right now, man, that know they like look at what they want to be and where they are right now, and there's a
Yeah.
huge gap. Like, I need to get there. I need someone to kind of show me it's okay to take it step by step. And your lyrics, I texted you when I was messaging you, it's left a mark on my life. If I, one of millions that listen to you, know what you're doing, just keep up the good work, because you're
Yeah.
definitely making an impression on people out there, man. We love it. So
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a lot of fun.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Please let it be
thank
the
you.
first of many, man. Don't be afraid to come back soon. We'll keep in touch, and we'll get this out to the world as soon as we can.
Yeah.
We'll make this the first of many, and good luck on the road and the writing, and we can't wait to hear the full album. Okay, so
Yeah,
Sweet.
absolutely.
all right,
Sounds
brother. Take
good.
care, man. You're welcome to
All
drop
right.
off.
You
Have
too.
a good one, brother. Take
Thank
care.
you,
All
John.
right. You too.
Dane, I'm telling you, dude, I love this guy, man. John, when I first met him and started introducing myself to him, he's as genuine as they come, dude. He is just love him. What do you think of him? So
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but be inspired and love the message that he sends. I mean, and all those out there, go listen to their music. I mean, you'll gravitate towards it. You'll find something in it that you can link with. So it's pretty powerful stuff. And he does, the whole band just sounds great. I mean, ever since you turned me on to them, I've been listening, and I like You've Always Been is one of my favorites of theirs. So,
yeah.
and I can't wait to get even deeper into their catalog, because I haven't found one that I don't like yet.
I meant what I said. So I look at our catalog, Dane, of musicians, and we've had a lot of musicians. We've been blessed.
Yeah.
I'd say that graciously. I look at the catalog, right? And every one of them, it seems to build on this. We keep finding new avenues to get more and more positive, right? I look
Yeah.
at some of the greats we started off with, the greats like Corey from Seether, our buddy
Yeah.
Chet from Three Doors Down. Every one of them have had this element of humility where they know what they're doing. They're just the conduit,
Yeah.
believers or not, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
cool. We celebrate everybody. It isn't about just that faith, but they believe in something bigger than themselves. They believe in the power of music, or the athletes believe in what this is doing. Maybe they're winning a championship for their home team, and they're giving their team a sense of pride, right? Their
Yeah.
town. And John was no exception to that. He's talking about, man, growing up, he was planted into this. He could have said, I don't want nothing to do with this. You've seen a lot of pastors' kids kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with music. I don't want none. And he kind of maybe took that God-given gift and said, I'm going to use this and help
Yeah.
people. And I can't tell you how many people have told me like this. I'm not the first person, even in my circle, to say, wow, their songs are powerful, like meaningful
Yeah.
lyrics. Even people that maybe don't typically listen to that type of music are like,
Yeah.
that's a heck of an album. Like, they really are genuine guys, and just they believe in what they're doing, So
Yeah.
loved it.
Oh yeah.
I told you, Dave, this was one of those ones where it was a message of hope. I love what he stands for, and I love that he's got a purpose. Like, he definitely
Yeah.
knows why he's here, So loved it.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah. That was a
Dane,
good one. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
yeah. So, John, thank you for your time on behalf of Unspoken. We got many more to come. Don't forget, that's the first of many. We're not slowing
Yeah.
down, man. We're looking at episode 300 is right there. Many more to come. Tomorrow, Dane, I'm going to spill the beans. I've been excited about this. There's a band I've been listening to for a very long time called Fire from the Gods. Sometime last year, we had Richie, their drummer, on, and I've been really, really pushing hard to get their lead singer. Imagine
Yeah.
for a second if you're at a show and you've got Bob Marley and POD in one sound. That's what you get with Fire from the Gods. So AJ, the lead singer, is stopping by tomorrow night to kind of in the week for us. And then next week we go into some softball, some running. We
Yep.
got a lot of good stuff next week. So again, we're not slowing down. We got many more positive episodes to come. So spread the word.
Yep.
On behalf of John, Unspoken, and that entire scene, we appreciate you greatly. Thanks for stopping
Yep.
by. Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane,
Thank you for listening.